व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत् नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवतसेवया भगवतीम् उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टकी. Hare Krishna. Reading Shrimad Bhagavatam, 3rd canto, 4th chapter, titled as Vidurji approaches Maitreya, text number 32. You can repeat after me. Evam Triloka Guruna Sandishta Shabda Yonina Vadashrayama Asadya Harim Ije Samadhina. I'll repeat one line at a time. Evam Triloka Guruna Sandishta Shabda Yonina Badriyashramam Usmam Asadhya Harimije Samadhina. Translation. Shukdev Goswami informed king that Uddhava, being thus instructed by Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the source of all the Vedic knowledge and the spiritual master of the three worlds, reached the pilgrimage site of Badrikashram and engaged himself there in trance to satisfy the Lord. Hare Krishna. So, in the previous few shlokas, we heard instructions by Lord Krishna to Uddhava, and Lord Krishna instructed Uddhava that Uddhava, you are my foremost devotee, you are my very dear devotee. And this is the only reason, that is why Lord Krishna gave knowledge of Shrimad Bhagavatam to Uddhavji. And then he instructed Uddhava that as there are three modes of material nature, Sattva Guna, Rajoguna and Tamoguna, by which you are not affected. Uddhava was not affected by any of the gunas, Sattva, Raja or Tamo. And hence this responsibility of spreading the knowledge of Shrimad Bhagavatam was given to Uddhava. And then, as per the instructions of Lord Shri Krishna, Uddhava reached Badrikashram. And there he was associating with the devotees of Naranarayana Rishi. There is a temple there of Naranarayana Rishi, and it is believed that Naranarayana Rishi is still doing tapasya there. And all their devotees, they are also there. So then Uddhavji reached Badrikashram. We call Badrinath now. And there he engaged himself in trance to satisfy the Lord. In service of Lord Shri Krishna. Sukadeva Goswami informed the king. Parikshit Maharaj is the king. Sukadeva Goswami is reciting this katha to Parikshit Maharaj. So Sukadeva Goswami is saying to Parikshit Maharaj that, hey king, hear this, that Uddhava, after instruction of Lord Shri Krishna, he gave up all the attachments and he went to Badrikashram. Srila Prabhupada ji explains in the Purport, Lord Shri Krishna is factually the spiritual master of the three worlds and is the original source of all the Vedic knowledge. And that is true actually. Lord Shri Krishna, he is the source of all the knowledge. Shabda Yonina, that is the word used here for Lord Krishna here is Shabda Yoni. Sandishta Shabda Yonina. Shabda Yoni means the bija, or here Shabda Yonina is the source. So who is the source of all the Vedic knowledge? Which is Lord Krishna. So whatever we are hearing, Shrimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, or Vedas, everything comes from Lord Shri Krishna. It is very difficult, however, to understand the personal feature of the Absolute Truth even from the Vedas. His personal instructions are needed in order to understand the personality of Godhead as the supreme absolute truth. Bhagavad Gita is the evidence of such transcendental knowledge in gist. One cannot know the Supreme Lord unless one is graced by the Lord Himself. Lord Krishna exhibited this specific mercy towards Arjuna and Uddhava while he was in the material world. So here it is very nicely explained by Srila Prabhupada about the transcendental nature of Lord Krishna. No matter how much materially we are qualified, we might be PhD or whatever the degrees we might have, but material qualifications are not enough to understand Lord Shri Krishna. We may know Sanskrit language, we might be expert in reciting the shlokas of Vedas. However, that is not the qualification to understand Krishna. Krishna can only be understood by His mercy. When Lord Krishna showers the mercy upon His devotee, then only we can understand Krishna. In Bhagavad Gita, here Srila Prabhupada gives the reference that all the essence of Vedic knowledge is there in the Bhagavad Gita in the form of gist. Gist means summary. Essence of everything is there in Bhagavad Gita. So here, one cannot know the Supreme Lord unless one is graced by the Lord. This is the qualification. भगवान को जानने का एक ही क्वालिफिकेशन है. क्या है? भगवान की कृपा. अगर कृपा नहीं है तो कोई भी काम नहीं कर सकता है. और कृपा किस पे होती है? तो यहाँ पे लिखा है अर्जुन और उद्धव, इनके ऊपर कृपा हो गई. वाई अर्जुन एंड उद्धव? क्योंकि अर्जुन और उद्धव बोथ वेर सरेंडर्ड टू लॉर्ड कृष्ण. भगवान को पूर्ण शरणागति. हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीन बंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्तुते. तो भगवान को पूर्ण शरणागति, यही भगवान की कृपा पाने का एकमात्र मार्ग है. अगर हमें लगता रहेगा कि हम कुछ अपने आप कर पाएंगे तो फिर कृपा नहीं हो जाएगी. हमें पूर्णतः completely dependent on mercy of Krishna. Undoubtedly, Bhagavad Gita was spoken by the Lord on the battlefield of Kurukshetra just to encourage Arjuna to fight. And yet, to complete the transcendental knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, Lord instructed Uddhava. So, there are two Gitas. One is Bhagavad Gita and another is Uddhava Gita. Bhagavad Gita is what Lord Krishna instructed to Arjuna. And then there is a Uddhava Gita. So Uddhava Gita also has transcendental knowledge. Actually, Uddhava Gita has, its 11th canto of Shrimad Bhagavatam is all about Uddhava Gita, Lord Krishna's instruction to Uddhava. And in that, Lord Krishna instructs to Uddhava more about his transcendental self. Personal instruction. So, in Bhagavad Gita, in chapter number 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, Lord Krishna reveals his identity to Arjuna, that is called Bhakti Yoga. But in Uddhava Gita, Lord Krishna in detail describes about his transcendental nature. So, he reveals his own personal identity to his devotees. Lord Krishna did not reveal this identity to any other Pandavas other than Arjuna, or not even to his family members. But then he revealed his transcendental identity to Arjuna. In 7th chapter, Lord Krishna reveals his universal identity, like impersonal form. He says, I am the taste of water, I am the light of the sun, the light of the moon, the fragrance of the earth, like that. And then further he goes on revealing his impersonal form or like a universal form to Arjuna. And then Lord Krishna reveals his personal form to Arjuna in the form of Chaturbhuja and Dvibhuja Rupa. And then at that level, further, Lord Krishna stops and then he starts Jnana Yoga. But then in Uddhava Gita, he starts from chapter number 12 onwards, where he reveals his own personal identity.
After revealing where he went, he read Bhakti Yoga.
Lord Krishna went to his own abode, Golok Vrindavan Dham. The Lord wanted Uddhava to fulfill his mission and disseminate the knowledge which he had not spoken here in Bhagavad Gita. See, here it is mentioned. So Lord Krishna spoke the knowledge to Arjuna, but then in Uddhava Gita is the advanced knowledge, the next step. Persons who are attached to the words of Vedas may also know from this verse that Lord is the source of all the Vedic knowledge. One who is unable to understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead by going through the pages of Vedas may take shelter of one of the Lord's devotees such as Uddhava in order to advance further in the knowledge of. See, this is also very important. If we really want to advance, then we have to take a shelter of a devotee so that we can advance further. And we have taken shelter of Srila Prabhupada. So with the help of Srila Prabhupada, we can advance further in science of Krishna consciousness. Brahma Samhita says that it is very difficult to understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead from Vedas. But he is really understood from a pure devotee like Uddhava. So Brahma Samhita is the description of Lord by Lord Brahmaji. And Brahmaji says in Brahma Samhita it is very difficult. Vedeshu Durlabha. So it is very difficult. Durlabha means very difficult to understand Supreme Personality. Vedeshu Durlabha Atma. So here. But he can be understood from the devotees like Uddhava. Right. Taking mercy on the great sages who lived at Badrikashram, Lord authorized Uddhava to speak on his behalf. Unless one has such authorization, one cannot understand or preach the devotional service of the Lord. So, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said that, Jare dekho tare kaho Krishna upadesh. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said that everyone should become a guru and spread the message of Krishna consciousness. But then you can become guru and spread the message of Krishna consciousness when one has taken a shelter of an authorized guru in the Guru Parampara system. So one has to take a shelter of another guru, and then that guru gives you blessing. Then you can start spreading the Krishna consciousness. You just cannot start randomly like that.
It's all about guru, devotee, and
preaching. Yes, so you get the blessing of your guru. Then once the guru gives you blessing, then you can start preaching the service of Lord Shri Krishna. While present on this earth, the Lord executed many uncommon activities, even traveling in space to bring down the Parijata from heaven and recovering the son of his teacher Sandipani Muni from the regions of death. Uddhava was certainly informed of the conditions of life on the other planets, and all sages were anxious to know them, just as we are anxious to know about the planets in the space. You see, this is the one thing. Lord Krishna had traveled all over while Krishna was on this planet. And he traveled to any other planetary systems also. Like Lord Krishna from the earthly planet went to Yamaloka, and where he brought 6 sons of Sandipani Muni. He recovered the son of his not 6, only one son of Sandipani Muni. And he also got 6 sons of his mother Devaki also back actually. There was a time. Then he got a Parijata tree from the Devaloka. So Lord had access to each and every loka. So Uddhavji was certainly informed about this by Lord Krishna. And all the sages in Badrikashram wanted to know what did Lord Krishna tell to Uddhava about the conditions of other planetary systems. Uddhava was particularly deputed to carry the message to Badrikashram, not only to the sages of that place of pilgrimage, but also to Nara-Narayana deities. Such a message must have been very more confidential than the knowledge described in the pages of Vedas. Lord is undoubtedly the source of all the Vedic knowledge, and messages dispatched through Uddhava to Nara-Narayana and other sages were also part of Vedic knowledge, but they were more confidential. See, it's confidential. What is this confidential? There is this chapter of Bhagavad Gita, chapter 9, which is called as the most confidential knowledge, which is called Rajavidya Rajaguhyam Pavitram Idam Uttamam. So that is the ninth chapter of Bhagavad Gita, which is confidential knowledge. Now, what does confidential means? Confidential means like which is very secretive, not known to anybody else. Only few people know it, and that is the knowledge which Lord gave it to Uddhava. And could be when can be understood only through the pure devotee of Uddhava. So, confidential knowledge reveals about the personal feature of Lord Krishna. And ordinary people, they cannot understand the personal feature of Krishna. They think that Krishna is one of them. They do not believe in the personal form of Krishna. And hence, this is the most confidential knowledge because it can only be understood by devotee. Since such confidential knowledge was known only to Lord and Uddhava, it is said that Uddhava was as good as Lord himself. This is why Uddhava is known as Lord himself, as good as Lord himself, because he has confidential knowledge about Lord. Every living entity can, like Uddhava, also become confidential messenger on the same level as Lord, provided he becomes confidential himself by taking loving service. Such confidential knowledge is entrusted as confirmed in Bhagavad Gita only to pure devotee, and thus like Uddhava and Arjuna. And one has to learn the mystery through them and not otherwise. One cannot understand Bhagavad Gita or Shrimad Bhagavatam without the help of confidential devotees of the Lord. See, this is a very, very important thing here that we should approach a bona fide spiritual master in the disciplic succession and try to learn Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam from them, not from any Tom and Harry who does not have any connection with Krishna. There are so many literature available in the planet. There are so many books available who will talk about Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam, but we have to be very confidential, very much careful not to get trapped into such false propagandas. We have to see the qualification whether this person is in the disciplic succession, parampara system, whether he is following the rules and regulations of parampara system. Then only we get the knowledge. Otherwise, we will be cheated actually. And there are so many people on the planet ready to cheat us. So we have to be very careful. According to Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, that confidential message must have concerned the mystery of his departure and the annihilation of his dynasty after the end of his appearance and in the mundane world for 100 years. So here Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is one of the great acharyas who comes in the disciplic succession. And Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur writes that the confidential knowledge which Lord Krishna conveyed to Uddhava included the mystery of his departure. Some people say some hunter hid the arrow on the toe of Lord Krishna and then Krishna left the body or something like that. But that is not the reality actually. And that reality of most confidential pastime of Lord was told by Lord Krishna to Arjuna, to Uddhava, sorry, as well as annihilation of his dynasty. So all the Bhoja and Vrishni dynasty members, they were how they will depart. That is also told by Lord Krishna to Arjuna, Uddhava. Everyone must have been very anxious to know about the mystery of the annihilation of Yadu dynasty. And that message must have been explained by Lord to Uddhava And he dispatched him to Badrikashram for the information of Nara Narayana and other pure devotees of Lord. Because here is the thing, when Lord disappeared and Lord's entire dynasty disappeared, then there will be doubt in the mind of other people that what exactly happened, how this happened. So, to resolve that dilemma in the mind of Lord's pure devotees, Lord sent Uddhava that you please go to Badrikashram, talk to all the devotees who might be inquisitive about myself, and you tell them what exactly happened, and I'm telling you this. So in this way, Lord explained the most confidential details of his departure to Uddhava as well. So in this way, we can see that Uddhava being the pure devotee who is not affected by three modes of nature was given this responsibility.
They say that some sons and the father they do puja. Their son asked Puja what happened